What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about a game that's getting a lot of hate lately, and I actually want to defend it. As you can see behind me here, I'm playing Assassin's Creed, except I'm not really. That is Final Fantasy XV. That is the latest free DLC pack called the Assassin's Festival. Noctis and his friends actually get dressed up as Altair and his crew and hunt down targets within this city, and I think it's pretty freaking radical, but it's really started to get some backlash from the community. Really hardcore Final Fantasy fans are starting to wonder why they're dwelling so long and so hard on Final Fantasy XV specifically. If you think about it, we've been getting tons and tons of news even now, months after release. I'm not just talking about downloadable content or expanded story chapters. They're still talking about now doing a Pocket Edition which may come to Switch, a spin-off that's going to be involving the VR goggles and fishing, and now a PC game that's going to be, I think 170 gigs because it's going to be 4K resolution. And this has some people saying, is this going to be another Final Fantasy XIII? Now, if we go back to the past, you may not have remembered this, but Final Fantasy XIII lost them some money originally, and so since Square-Enix was afraid of losing more, they ended up cranking out two really fast sequels. It ended up being an entire trilogy based around a game and a character that's not really great. To try and keep people interested, they ended up calling it the Novella Crystallis, this epic grand tapestry as they called it. An interweaving of different storylines in different time periods, all involving the same core heroes. But it was not well received, and I think people are afraid of that happening again now with FF15. Personally, I think this game is fantastic, and I wouldn't mind that happening. I think the villains are interesting and the heroes are cool, but I understand that fear. As soon as Square Enix starts fixating too hard on something, they usually screw it up. So far though, I think they've been doing things actually perfectly. I've liked each of the standalone chapters. In case you've missed them, we had two giant DLC packs so far that focused second on Promto and first on Gladio. And they were both really cool. They were standalone missions that showed what our heroes were doing when they were off on their own. And I liked that. It built the world, it gave us a totally new combat system for each of the characters, and it made it where when I went back to the main story, I kind of liked it because I could understand and sympathize more with their inner struggles and how they fight. That was cool to me, but I understand that that's not for everybody. That is for only the most ultra hardcore lovers of Final Fantasy XV, which is probably me. I've put over 100 hours into the game now, including getting the Platinum Trophy and doing all sorts of stuff. But I keep finding myself going back to the game. No matter what, I find myself putting down Final Fantasy XV and coming back to it later because of the free updates. Stuff like weird new costumes, mech suits, or just the fact that now the car can get these giant monster truck tires, jump, go over the railings, and now drive around off-road. I like that. I see all this as a positive thing. I think we're entering a new age of Final Fantasy. Previously, the only way Square could really make money on a project is by always working on the next one. I was talking to some Final Fantasy fans the other day, and they reminded me that there was actually only 16 months between the release of Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy IX. That is crazy fast, which makes me think that they probably recycled a lot of ideas and concept art, and those poor developers must have just working non-stop to get both those done within a 2-year period. I don't want them to end up rushing Final Fantasy XVI. I've heard all sorts of little tiny rumors here and there that make it sound like they're already really brainstorming what direction they want to take the next main entry, and they want to start work on it now, that way it'll be done in 3 or 4 years and be just as grand and epic as 15 is. And I think by coming out with little DLC packs, both free and paid, it's giving something to keep them occupied. The development team that's still working on this has this big project that is making extra money to fund the development of 16. And I like the idea of this stuff, like right now they're working on multiplayer for FF15. A freaking multiplayer mode where you get to make a custom character and take on monsters with your friends. That is so cool, and I feel like this experimentation with a game that's already on the market just means that when 16 comes out, it'll already be even better. The reason I've always loved Final Fantasy, because it is my favorite franchise of all time, is that every game ends up being totally different. The leveling system, the way we write, the main villains, each piece of it is going to be 100% different. And so I'm thinking that if they really get a bunch of stuff out of their system with 15, whenever 16 comes out, it can still be a radically new departure, and I'm excited for that. I'm willing to support the heck out of 15. I've loved all the DLC. In fact, I made videos for each piece of it just because I think it's a game that's so cool. I like Arden, I like Noctis, I like the Dark World. Each part of that was a grand adventure, but I don't think it's a bad thing that they're staying with it. I don't think the Moogle festivals are bad, and I think this Pocket Edition could be a really cool thing, even if it is just a new fancy cell phone game. So really what I'm getting at is, I don't think we should fear that Final Fantasy XV is going to turn into Final Fantasy XIII. That was a freaking train wreck. The entire Nova Crystallis thing was cool overall, but there was so much confusion with the Foul Sea, the Lust Sea, all these stupid names and rhyming. It just didn't work. Whereas Final Fantasy XV at its baseline does work. We have the foundation of this fantastic universe. If they choose to put a couple extra seeds in the soil and see if they sprout, I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to be patient, and I'm willing to see what this game grows and expands into. I'm not going to blindly hate it until I get a reason, and so far, every single piece of content, to me, has been incredibly cool. So I don't really understand the people who are hating on it already. Let's wait. If you don't want to deal with Final Fantasy XV, that's fine. But those of us who are still enjoying it, don't insult us. Let the fans enjoy what they can, and if that's not your cup of Final Fantasy, well, 14 just keeps getting bigger and better, and there's all sorts of great stuff that could be coming out soon with Final Fantasy VII Remake. There is a lot of this series to love, and there's a lot to go around. But maybe don't spend all your time just sitting on forums calling idiots like me idiots. Well guys, this has just been a random, totally off-the-cuff rant about Final Fantasy XV because I'm still playing it, I still think it's cool, and I'm still really tickled by me wearing that crazy outfit. So, what do you think about it? Are you willing to keep playing this game? Are you totally burned on Final Fantasy because this has overstayed its welcome? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. By the way, this is really just random, but I keep hearing rumors that they might do a Final Fantasy XV prequel starring Arden and show us like the main villain's backstory. I would totally buy that. That would be super cool. Whether it's standalone DLC or a whole new freaking game, I am going to buy the heck out of that. Yes. Oh, hi. I'm just working on the next video. If you want to see what it is, go ahead and click this button and you can subscribe. Also, if you click these video links, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. Now I'm just going to sit here for a minute and wait for you to subscribe. Oh, I guess I could put on these giant glasses. I literally found these on a roller coaster.